Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest video for Eve Echoes, where we cover once again the golden nanocore and its AI features. Now, this isn't going to be a guide as such as to what you want to fit on your ship and why you want to do it. It's more just going to be a walkthrough of what exactly I've got fitted on my own ship, and it might provide you with a little bit of inspiration as to what you might want to put on your own ships. Again, it depends on what sort of ships that you're skilled into, whether it be lasers, missiles, etc. Whether you have a spare armor ship kicking around or shield ship. It's kind of up to you. So me, personally, I have an Apocalypse Navy issue. Why am I doing it with an Apocalypse Navy issue? Well, it was a free ship, and I tend to be quite stingy when it comes to these things. So I got a free Apocalypse Navy issue in those boxes from these giveaway events, as they were. I needed to find a use for it. I was previously, as you'll see in some of my previous videos, using a Bolgorn, but that Bolgorn got reshipped over to Cobalt Edge because that kind of feels like its natural home. So I needed a new ship to bring down here. I went with the Apocalypse Navy issue because it was going spare. With insurance costs being what they are for the Navy issue ships, it's not like I was going to be leaving this one out in nullsec. So yeah, this one's down in highsec doing the AI ratting. So that's why I'm using this particular ship. It's not a bad ship, but yeah. Originally, I started off with using the pulse crystal implant, but unless you're in a single system island, the pulse crystal isn't all that good, because every time you leave system, the implant disables and you've got to be there to turn it back on. If you're not there to turn it back on, the best you can hope for it is an extra 10% damage from one of the passive buffs at level 30. So it wasn't all that useful. And considering I mostly rat in the Kiba area, which is a two-system island, I kind of forgot the words in there. It is a two-system highsec island. So as you'll see up on screen, and I'm currently warping to the other system right now, as you can see on screen, Zavorel? I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Anyway, I'm currently warping to that system, so if I had the pulse crystal fitted, it would disable. So instead, I have the focus crystal equipped, because that is a passive one. I don't have to be there to keep on enabling it between every system. So anyway, that is the implant that I've currently got fitted. Now, you'll notice I don't have any tracking enhancers on my implant. The story behind that one is I currently have on the focus crystal implant for when I'm running Dormant Realms, the range extending general unit. And I'm afraid that if I take that general unit out for when I'm ratting, I'll forget to put it back in for when I'm doing Dormant Realms. So I've not bothered putting any tracking computers on this particular ship. I would recommend, if you're not stuck in the same conundrum as me, I would recommend having a tracking computer in here. Instead, because I don't have a tracking computer, I have 3 webifiers, just to make sure that I can actually hit the small ships, because big, large lasers don't track very well. So if you're wondering, Hale, why do you have 3 stasis webifiers? Why don't you just put a tracking computer in the lows? That's why. That is why, I'm afraid. So, yeah. You'll also notice that I'm running a Nosferatu. That is just to make sure that I don't accidentally, under any scenario, cap myself out. Because the NPCs can still use neutralizers on you, as you might have seen a few seconds ago. And I'm running dual reps for my tank. It's not as important as it used to be running dual reps on your tank, because once upon a time, between every single NPC, every time you killed off an NPC rat, your tanking modules would all shut down. That's not the case anymore. But if that particular feature comes back, I'd like to be prepared. So I currently run 2 armor rappers and a armor hardener. It's over tanked, but if we do too much DPS, and yes, there is such a thing as too much DPS, you can find yourself in a little bit of trouble. So yeah, as we can see, further across in the low slots right now. In fact, why am I showing you my fittings in the fittings area at the bottom right screen when we have this entire window? Yes, the actual fitting screen. It's very useful to look at, although I'm afraid I'm kind of in the way of it a little bit here. There we go. You can see all of my low slots now as long as I pivot my chair and rotate back a little bit. So yeah, up here, let's see if I can point properly. No, it just looks like I'm picking my nose. Anyway, so we have 2 armour repairers, an armour hardener, a capacitor battery. Remember again earlier I said we don't want to accidentally cap ourselves out. And 2 heat sinks. Those are our low slots, and now I can put my chair back where I was. Yeah, we have our 3 stasis webifiers, our 1 Nosferatu, couple of small drones. That's in case we're having a really bad time with actually hitting our targets. At least the drones will be able to hit. That won't be a problem there. And of course, our pulse lasers, our C-type large pulse lasers. I don't really bother going any further and getting B-types and stuff like that. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Especially for something that's going to be clearing the anomalies anyway. You're still going to be getting all 50 of them in. Oh, yeah, and I never actually had a look at the rigs, did I? What rigs do I currently have? Well, I have capacitor control circuit, and capacitor control circuit. Yeah, that's not very creative, I guess. And for our other rigs, once again, they're all the same. Large burst aerator freeze. Nothing special there. And you'll notice I'm not even going with Tech 4. Again, if I get the DPS too high with this ship, we're going to have problems. And why do I say too high? Well, as it stands at the moment, with this particular ship, I can run, 4 or 5 anomalies every 30 minutes. Now, if I get a really bad spawn, and I get 4 anomalies, if my ship has so much DPS that in 30 minutes I run all of those 4 anomalies, but I run them so quickly that they're done in the first 20 minutes. There is a 10-minute downtime window between me finishing all of the anomalies and the refresh timer of 30 minutes actually getting to the end and allowing me to press reset. The AI is not going to wait 10 minutes and sit around doing nothing for the refresh button to come along to be able to press it and carry on. Sometime in that 10-minute window, I presume it's somewhere around 2 minutes, it will stop waiting and it will shut down the AI. And you'll come back to your device to find that you've probably spent hours with your AI not doing anything. So you need to slow yourself down. You want to make it so that your ship can average a anomaly in around 7 minutes, let's say, because then you're clearing your 4 anomalies within 28 minutes, and you've got a little bit of a window, if you only have 4 anomalies to run, for the timer to actually have a chance to press the refresh button. But anyway, so yeah, there is such a thing as having too much DPS. There isn't a massive amount really beyond all that I've said that can be said about this particular ship and the Nanocore. With my previous ship, the Bolgon, I ran a somewhat similar fitting. I ran, I believe, 2 Nosferatus and 3 stasis webifiers. Or was it? No, actually, it was 3 Nosferatus and 2 stasis webifiers. And the reason why I had 3 Nosferatus was because at the time I was trying to do ratting over in Clarilam. Now, unfortunately, over in Clarilam, it can get very busy at times, and whenever I logged in, I'd quickly come up against the brick wall that is warp interference is stopping you from going to an anomaly and ratting. What that basically meant was the system was full. You couldn't do any ratting in that system at that point in time because there were too many people already running anomalies. And whilst I liked flying the Bolgon and using the pulse crystal, which gave me a consistent like 40% damage bonus, because yeah, I really invested in getting, those lasers topped up with capacitor. I couldn't use the pulse crystal there because I couldn't physically rat there. And when I left and moved over to Kiba, I wasn't around to press that implant, as I stated at the beginning of the video. But yeah, what is the one last thing in this video that we have not covered yet? Let's take a look at the Nanocore itself. Now, hopefully, we won't get kicked out of this screen as we jump stargates, but we'll see what happens there. Now, the Nanocore isn't anything special, guys. It's not one of these super duper premium nanocores that give you all of these fancy bonuses. It is just your typical, I say typical, it's just a normal nanocore that gives you a few stats here and there. Now, as you can see, all I've given it under basic attributes is the plus 18% laser damage. If I were to train it any further and to go down the route of giving it more damage, which is much further down than I presume it to be, probably the third option. Yeah, the third option. If I was to go any further down and start investing in damage, I genuinely run the risk of doing exactly what I was talking about earlier. Completing anomalies way too quickly and the AI shutting down because there's simply nothing for it to do. I would run that risk. So I'm not doing it. I am not running that particular risk because it takes trial and error to get to this point. To get to this point where you can run the anomalies, all 50 of them, comfortably in under 50 hours without it shutting down too often. Now, I do work off of that rule of thumb that I will be getting a lowest anomaly of 4 every 30 minutes. That is the assumption I make when I'm building this particular ship. You can get lower. You could get even 3. I've had that before where the AI is just stopped like hours earlier because it only had 3 to run with instead of 4. You can't insure yourself against that. The only thing you can do is set your alarm clock for every 30 minutes to hit that refresh button on the off chance the AI is disabled. If you're in the area and you're awake and you're doing chores or something, that's not a big ask. You can set your timer for every 30 minutes and just do that. If you're setting it whilst you're going to sleep or going to work, that's not really an option, but it's there anyway. But anyway, yeah, that is today's video really. It's just a simple walkthrough. Many of you will probably already know what I'm talking about and you'll probably be commenting in the comment section below how your particular fits work. Yeah. But for the most part, it is what it is. And yeah, in case any of you are wondering, just exactly how am I getting footage up right now as I'm talking, because I'm not going through the mess of playing with the green screen in post-editing, in just post. Getting my words confused there. Anyway, I am just currently linked up with my tablet using a HDMI cable, which, yeah, I like doing this. But anyway, yeah, that is just my little walkthrough video. It's kind of unscripted, a bit like my ramble videos, but hey ho, I've got to experiment, try new things. I can't write scripts forever. I can't get as much personality into a script. And I can't train myself to stop saying if I'm following a script all of the time. So yeah, that's why I've chose to do a walkthrough video today. Start with something simple. But anyway, if you enjoy the content that I'm doing and you want to support this channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. At the time of recording, I'm currently on 495 subscribers. It's entirely possible we'll be at 500 by the time this one goes live. But in the meantime, thanks again for watching everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.